Ladies and gentlemen, we are proceeding with our panel discussion, Life Sciences and the New Bioeconomy, Investing in Health, Biotech and Medtech. I'd like to first invite our moderator, Mr. Mridul Karkara, partner, YCP Octus, to please step forward. Hello, sir. I'd like to now invite our esteemed panelists for this discussion. I'd like to invite Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, past President, FICCI and Joint Managing Director, Apollo Hospitals Group, to please join us here on stage. I would also like to invite Mr. Shakti Nagappan, Director, Life Sciences, Government of Telangana, to please step forward and join us here on stage. Yes, it's an honor to have you here with us. Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in. And Mr. Shakti Nagappan, thank you so much for joining in. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just give a brief introduction about Mr. Mridul Karkara, our moderator. He has 15 plus years of experience as management consultant focused on healthcare industry. As a consulting partner, he has served clients across geographies and recently has been focusing on supporting growth and operational transformation of pharma and CDMO clients in Hyderabad. Over to our moderator, Mr. Mridul.
Yeah, thank you so much. Over the last few conversations, we've been hearing about life sciences and healthcare getting mentioned along with Telangana a few times. So it makes a lot of sense to spend some time focused on the topic, and I'm glad to be moderating this session. Also glad to have the two panelists here who will have the privilege to introduce. But among them, they really cover the breadth of the healthcare industry really well. We have representation from healthcare services, from life sciences. So really have the opportunity to talk about the industry very holistically. We have Dr. Sangeeta Reddy with us. Pleasure to have you, ma'am. As a Joint Managing Director of Apollo Hospitals Enterprises, Ms. Sangeeta leads Asia's largest and most trusted healthcare institutions. No introduction required for the institution. But Ms. Sangeeta is an important voice, not just in India, but globally. She's represented India in many forums, including G20, BRICS, among others. And Ms. Sangeeta has been the recipient of numerous prestigious awards for business and leadership and was ranked by Business Today as the most powerful woman in business in 2022. So welcome, ma'am. Shakti is no stranger to this platform when we talk about Telangana and life sciences. Shakti is someone we relate to very often. As the CEO of Telangana Life Sciences, Shakti leads the initiatives that drive innovation and growth in the life sciences sector here in Telangana. The several years, he's been focusing on attracting new companies to the state, supporting local companies, and really creating an ecosystem that's put Telangana on the map, not just in India, but globally as we think about life sciences. We have a very focused 20 minutes, so I'll get straight into the questions. I'll start with you, Ms. Sangeeta. We have seen in the industry, healthcare attract a number of investments, not just from private equity investors, from strategic investors, but from the industry within itself, a number of investments in growing capex and adding capacity. With that investment cycle ongoing for a while, would love your perspective on, are we seeing any semblance of a saturation or a peak hitting, or you think this momentum is here to stay?
So good morning, everyone. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for this, interesting opening question, which really enables a gamut of discussion. But let me begin by the fact that India has a population of 1.4 billion people. 50% of our population is under the age of 30, but sometimes we forget the fact that we will have over 340 million over the age of 60. So the healthcare needs of this country are growing. The incidence of non-communicable disease is growing as well. And while we have seen, I think the number is somewhere in the range of $3 to $4 billion of investment in the last 4 years in health sector alone in India. The fact is that there is so much more to be done. We have close to 75 emerging cities across the country in Telangana itself. I think whether you look at Warangal or Khammam or Tandur or Vikarabad, each one is a potential. Each one has the capability to absorb high-end hospitals. But besides the hospital sector, I think the focus has come a lot on single specialty hospitals. I'm really happy about this because almost 19 years ago, I started Cradle, which was a boutique birthing women's, and everybody said, why will you leave a big hospital and go? And today that has become the de facto place that women seek for delivery. So single specialty is another category. And in the range of specialty healthcare, I think elderly care is a large, unplanned, unfocused area, which is now we're just beginning to do things in that. But then the next dimension of care, which is integrated care, not just telemedicine, but condition management, integration of home care, and then new and novel discoveries. How do we put AI into every aspect of care? How do we evolve and innovate in terms of new solutions? And again, Telangana is the hub of pharmaceutical in this country, and therefore the new solutions which will emerge. So I think the intersection of AI and biotechnology is opening up a range of new opportunities. So I believe that the journey has just begun in terms of enabling 100% access to healthcare for India and for the world through India.
Thank you for the answer. In an investment-focused conversation, it's great to understand that the momentum is still with us. So it's a great start to the conversation. Shakti, a question for you. When we look at India, especially post-COVID, we really came out, getting recognized as a pharma powerhouse. Not just in generics, but also in vaccines and other areas. We'd love to understand from your perspective, within that overall image of India as a pharma powerhouse, the role that Telangana has been playing, especially as it relates to scaled manufacturing.
Thank you, Mridul. Good afternoon, everyone. In fact, Telangana has really played a central role in this whole journey of India to become the pharmacy of the world, right? There are several reasons why it is so. So, I also kind of want to extend on Ms. Reddy's point. The journey has just begun, and it started 3-4 decades ago in Telangana, right, with Indian Drugs and Pharmaceutical Limited, which really kind of was the foundational pillar for the whole growth of life sciences ecosystem here, which today houses more than 2,000 life sciences companies, which is one of the densest ecosystems anywhere in Asia. And also, which is one of the diverse ecosystems, very rich in nature, from chemistry to biology to genetics. The kind of ecosystem that we have is unmatched and unparalleled in this Asia-Pacific region, right? So, just to put some statistics forward, so 40% of India's pharmaceutical production happens from this state and city of Hyderabad, which goes to show the kind of export engine that Telangana has been for the world, right? You also spoke about COVID, the vaccines. So 1 in 3 vaccines that are produced in the world are from the state of Telangana, right? 14 billion doses each year. That's how strong the vaccine industry is. And most importantly, that's how important Telangana is in the global healthcare landscape, right? To be able to supply affordable, high-quality vaccines for the world. And to, not just in pharmaceuticals and vaccines, but also in medical devices. The state started the medical devices park a few years ago, which now houses almost 65 medical device companies, including Asia's largest stent manufacturing facility. 1 million stents and 1.2 million balloon catheters get manufactured from this very city of Hyderabad, right? All of this goes to show how strong the ecosystem has been contributing to ensuring patients around the world get affordable, accessible healthcare, right? So Telangana, to your question, Telangana has definitely served as an important, contributor in this journey of India to become, a powerhouse in pharmaceuticals.
It's very encouraging to see not just pharma, the role expanding to include medical devices, manufacturing as well. The stature of the state has been increasing with that. Ms. Sangeeta, back to you, the question again focused on Telangana. You know, when we think about Telangana, we also think about Hyderabad and Apollo being sort of mentioned together. As we think about sort of the ecosystem getting developed in the city, what role do you think it can play as it relates to medical value tourism? And from your perspective, what are some of the things that may need to be done as we continue to sort of create an ecosystem around medical travel?
So I think this is, again, a tremendous area which all of us should be focusing on as a country and then as a city, Hyderabad. To begin with, we have a large number of high-end tertiary care hospitals. Apollo Hospitals, of course, we've been here, for more than almost 40 years now. It's 38 years since we're here. And have built the Apollo Health City, high-end care from liver transplant to heart transplant to oncology treatment. We'll soon be having a proton here. So the facilities are there. But besides Apollo, there are others. There's Yashoda, there's KIMS, there's CARE, there's AIG, all these others. India gets approximately 100,000 patients every year across all its sectors, with Delhi receiving the most and Hyderabad is at number 4 in terms of numbers. But if you look at the hospitals, the good quality airport, the good connectivity, we should be receiving more patients. But as a country and as a health sector, we have represented to the Indian government and have received positive feedback because, in fact, from medical value travel, the change of terminology to the concept of heal in India happened in a conversation with the Honorable Prime Minister and my father, our chairman, who actually said we can heal in India, we can heal from India using remote care, and we can heal by India because the Indian youth can be trained to go all over the world to fulfill the gap of 17 million healthcare workers which exists across the world. So it's a huge opportunity, but there's work to be done. I think number one, we are here in a conversation with, the partnership with UAE. There are many lessons to learn from this dynamic country. How do you welcome visitors? How do you create infrastructure? Your open visa or friendly visa policies. We need visa on arrival. This is something which is happening in Thailand, in Turkey, in Korea. But in India, we have visa problems to bring patients in. The second thing is we need more flights and connectivity because many of our patients from Africa come via Dubai. And very soon they will say, why don't we stop in Dubai? So using the cost advantage that India has, the quality imperative or the quality advantage that we have, that our doctors are, simply outstanding, and our outcomes, which are second to none in the world. We need to create more flight connectivity, better visa, better supporting environment, and finally, and I think significantly, we need India to speak to the world, saying that our healthcare is outstanding, please come and experience it. So I think it's a multi-pronged approach. We did have a recent meeting with the Health Secretary, Tourism Secretary, Home Secretary, and one more, Aviation. So India is coming together to take its next big steps in medical value travel under the terminology of Heal in India. And sorry, last thing, but when Dr. Reddy said this, our chairman said this 20 years ago, and many people laughed when he really said this, that people will come from all over the world to be treated in India. But like I told you in the beginning, this year it was over 100,000 patients, and approximately 21% of those come into an Apollo hospitals. I also want to add the last and important thing, that Heal in India encompasses high-end tertiary care, but it also encompasses Ayurveda, Ayush, and alternate medicines and wellness. And heal is not just physical healing. So if you look what happened at the Kumbh Mela, it's a different level of healing which is also happening.
Heal in India as a phrase I will definitely take back with me. Absolutely. I think that's an important way to communicate what India can stand for and is standing for. Shakti, we talked about scaled manufacturing in Telangana, but over the last few years, we're also getting recognized for innovation. Be it the Genome Valley, be it T-Hub and B-Hub. Would love to understand from your perspective, what is some of the work being done, especially to create that innovation ecosystem around in Telangana?
See, innovation plays a very important role in life sciences sector, right? So, when the state started the first biotech policy in early 2000s, innovation was central. Genome Valley that you spoke about, the first thing as part of Genome Valley that was envisaged was a science park, right? Which Genome Valley today has emerged as one of the a very rich a space or a cluster for R&D and innovation with over 250 companies in it, right? So. Extending that, the state has now embarked on a number of things that really drives innovation. So we've started creating a number of centers of excellence. So there is a center of excellence on flow chemistry, helping the existing companies improve efficiency, etc. This is process innovation, right? If you look at this contract research organizations, Hyderabad hosts a range of them, and based on our estimate, we serve almost 1,000 innovators globally through our service R&D network. And also, based on our internal research, there is no new chemical entity that is approved that's there without a Hyderabad signature in it, which is not a mean feat for a region to achieve, right? It could have been a process chemistry, it could have been formulation. There is at least one signature in every new chemical entity that's approved in the world. So that being said, we are looking at building a new university which is focused on research, innovation, and education. Right, talent becomes an important source of innovation. So this is modeled around some of the best universities globally. Incidentally, we've also had this conversation with Apollo to work together to see how science can be done in the university that we are building, co-locate a medical university along with it to be able to translate from science to clinic, right? So these are all very, very, futuristic initiative that Telangana wants to drive. There is also another initiative called B-Hub, the Biotech Hub. India is still early in the phase of moving from chemistry to biology, right? So to be able to accelerate that growth, the B-Hub that we are putting in with the Common Manufacturing Center will really bring down the deterrent with respect to capital infrastructure that each of the companies need to create, but can come and use our common infrastructure to be able to establish proof of concept. Once proof of concept is established, then you're much more confident to be able to raise money to invest in your own R&D and manufacturing infrastructure, right? So that's another thing that we're doing. The B-Hub should be ready in about 2 to 3 months. And there is a new life sciences policy in the anvil. It's in the final stages of getting approved. So there we are looking at consolidating our existing strengths in chemistry and biology, but also looking at new areas of growth. For instance, the whole life sciences industry is moving into this whole personalized medicine space, precision medicine, things like that. So our new policy will focus on consolidating our existing strength and also building on futuristic trend in the life sciences industry to be able to continue our leadership position, not just for now, but also in the future.
It's encouraging to hear about the holistic way in which we're looking at life sciences across sectors, both sort of scale manufacturing as well as innovation. We would love to see Hyderabad getting recognized on the lines of like a Boston or a San Diego, and I think we are well on our way to get there. I'll take a cue from one of the things you talked about, Shakti, which is around talent. Ms. Sangeeta, similarly in the healthcare services space as well, availability of human capability along with financial assets is equally important. And Apollo has already done some of the work. I would love to understand your perspective on what has already been done and being done to make sure that from a talent perspective as well, we have Hyderabad being seen as a hub for India.
So thank you. I think you have pointed us in the direction of one of India's biggest strengths, and that is our human resource. And one of our biggest needs, which is the ability to channelize the 10 million youth which are coming into the workforce every year into future-ready jobs and roles. So creating more doctors is one thing, but training them in healthcare of the future, whether it is AI or genomics, using some of the traditional approaches are getting very quickly modified. Immunotherapy is replacing so much of cancer treatment. So it is that we need more doctors, we need more technicians, but we need more future ready. So we have nurses, but do we have remote care trained nurses? Can they sit behind a screen and handle 100 patients because they've been trained in this? So we've created a few initiatives. Number one, our medical school, which is on the campus of the hospital, so that they have the exposure to the highest end care. We created a company called MedSkills. We are among the largest skilling company. About 85,000 people a year we skill. Our medical school in Hyderabad also has postgraduate and international tie-ups, but I'm very happy to say that we did among the world's first global degree. So these students do 2 years in Australia, 1 year in Hyderabad with us, and 1 year in Texas, and then go back to Australia to get a degree from Macquarie University. I believe this is a trend which is going to happen in many more. And finally, MedVarsity is our online learning platform. Here we handle the entire spectrum of training, whether it's postgraduate training, short courses, training for nurses, paramedics, and whether it's AI in healthcare or traditional learning. We are replacing the chalk and the lecture session into IT-enabled care in medical colleges. So it's an exciting journey which is happening. And what we need to do is project the future of learning, which is not just in the classroom and which is not just from a single source. So our new learning platform has integrated all sources of learning based on a single subject or content and integrated this into a learning management system. Sorry, I went into a deep thing, but I'm very excited about the future of learning, the future of jobs, and the ability of Telangana to reposition itself and for us to partner with future-thinking global countries to say, let's do this together for the rest of the world. So it's truly a very exciting space.
Certainly. We are here sort of looking at Investopia, talking about investments, and sometimes healthcare and life sciences is a really vast sector. So maybe one common question for both of you, Shakti, maybe I'll start with you, which is if we were to recommend certain areas of investment within this broad space, what are some of the things that you are seeing as being attractive for investors and something that the state needs as well from a growth perspective?
See, there are, in my view, there are two kinds of investment that is possible, or there is a promising opportunity between UAE and Telangana or India broadly, right? So one is what government is now creating as a fund for biotherapeutic development. So through the new policy that I spoke about, we are creating an innovation fund specifically focused on biotherapeutics for oncology, right? That includes some of the areas, immunotherapies, etc., that Dr. Ms. Reddy mentioned. But also, the whole transition from small molecules to large molecule that I spoke about. So there is a potential opportunity to partner with the government to be able to invest in startups through this vehicle that we are creating, number one. And number two, we've already seen some investments from, let's say, Mubadala Bio and others, ADQ and stuff in UAE, into firms here which are doing, complex generics, injectable facilities, also in medical devices, right? Medical devices, India as, replicating the whole pharma story for medical device and electronics is something very, very promising and appealing. So that's the second area I would mention. Of course, the government, Honorable Minister spoke about it in the morning, Ms. Reddy spoke about it now. Medical value tourism, there is a big opportunity for investors from Middle East to invest here.
Thanks, Shakti. Ms. Sangeeta, from your perspective?
Of course, Shakti has given a lot of exciting areas, so I completely agree with everything he said. I want to add that investment cycles have to look at, we need to look at the cycle. Is this short-term or long-term? If somebody is looking at a longer-term investment cycle, then I would request for a focus on large-scale life sciences and healthcare training institutions, because all of us know that it's not so easy to go abroad as it used to be. And India is potentially within a 6-hour flight of 50% of the world's population. This is where we need to have the Harvards and the Stanfords. So whether we develop them ourselves or build that infrastructure and investment opportunity in that, if you have a longer term view on returns, that's the place I would go. The second thing I think is startups across biotechnology, but a platform so that you can place multiple bets across the space, because for every one that succeeds big, we all know that 8 to 10 of them fail. So a platform play or a fund is really one of the answers. The third is, I would really like to visualize with an international, a country like UAE. How can India and UAE together combine the financial strengths, the vision of a country like UAE, and the skill sets of a country like India, and take healthcare to the world? Can we together go to Africa? Can we together go to Fiji and Tonga? What can we do in a combined manner? Build hospital infrastructure, build new age hospitals, and then create medical value travel ready facilities across the Indian ecosystem. So there are many, many opportunities. I would structure them based on size of investment, appetite, length, or life cycle of that investment. But across the spectrum, there are many things that we can do together. And I want to congratulate the organizers for putting together this program.
Thanks to both of you for your perspectives. I'll close out with something that just Ms. Sangeeta, you spoke about how Mr. Reddy had set out a vision for how India can attract international patients in the future. I think we're all kind of talking about setting up Hyderabad as a truly global healthcare hub, and my belief is that action is already getting taken to get us there. So when a vision is set, some activity starts. So I'll close out with that. Thanks to both of you for your time and your perspective, and thanks everyone for your attention as well.
Thank you all.
Thank you, dignitaries, for that wonderful panel discussion. Request you to please remain on stage as we'll be presenting mementos. I request Mr. Nikhil Chakravarti, Commissioner of Industries, Government of Telangana, to please step forward to do the honors in presenting mementos. First up, I request Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, past President, FICCI, and Joint Managing Director, Apollo Hospitals Group, to please step forward to receive the memento. I now request Mr. Shakti Nagappan, Director, Life Sciences, Government of Telangana, to please step forward. I request our moderator for the session, Mr. Mridul Karkara, to please step forward to receive the memento. Yes, it's time for a group photo opportunity. Yes, a photo opportunity, sir. Mr. Nikhil. Thank you so much, dignitaries, for that informative session. Thank you so much, Mr. Mridul. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we move into our next panel, which is Startup Superhighway Bridging Hyderabad and the UAE. To kickstart this panel session, I'd like to welcome our moderator, Mr. Manish Cheda, Managing Partner, YCP Octis, to please step forward onto the stage.